Welcome to this peaceful journey through the world's rainforests. Let yourself relax as we explore these remarkable ecosystems, discovering the intricate beauty and wonder that exists within Earth's most vibrant landscapes. Take a deep breath, settle in, and allow these fascinating facts to gently carry you through the emerald canopies and mysterious depths of our planet's rainforests. There's no need to remember everything. Simply let the words wash over you like a warm tropical rain, allowing your mind to wander through these ancient forests at its own gentle pace. Rainforests cover less than 6% of Earth's land surface, yet they contain a huge abundance of life and are actually home to more than half of all plant and animal species on our planet. This extraordinary concentration of life makes them the most biodiverse ecosystems we know. To truly appreciate this density of life, imagine standing in one place and being surrounded by more species of living things within a single acre than exist in some entire countries. Scientists continue to discover new species every single year, sometimes several new species in a single expedition. In fact, it's estimated that we've only cataloged and studied about 10% of the species that call rainforests home, meaning millions of plants, insects, fungi, and microorganisms remain completely unknown to science, living out their quiet lives in the green shadows above and below. Some rainforests are incredibly old, having existed in their current form for at least 70 million years. These ancient ecosystems have weathered ice ages and continental shifts, serving as living museums of evolutionary history. When dinosaurs still walked the earth, early versions of these forests were already established, their roots drinking from ancient rivers long since vanished. During the ice ages that gripped much of the planet in frozen silence, these equatorial forests remained relatively stable, serving as refuges where species could survive and evolve. This incredible age means that the evolutionary relationships between species have had millions of years to become intricate and specialized. Some insects can only pollinate one specific flower. Some birds rely entirely on one type of fruit. These relationships, formed over countless generations, create a web of interdependence so complex that scientists are still unraveling its mysteries, thread by delicate thread. Probably the most famous is the Amazon rainforest, which is vast, spanning over 5.5 million square kilometers. To put this in perspective, it covers an area nearly as large as the entire continent of Australia, stretching across 9 countries in South America. If the Amazon were a country, it would be the 7th largest in the world. Within its borders flow countless rivers, some so wide they could swallow entire cities, others narrow enough to step across, yet each playing a vital role in the forest's life. The Amazon contains approximately 16,000 different tree species alone, more than exist in all of North America and Europe combined. Walking through different sections of the Amazon, you might find areas where a single species of tree dominates for miles, then suddenly transition into a region where dozens of species compete for space within a single hectare. This variability creates endless microhabitats, each supporting its own unique community of life. Rainforests are vital to maintaining a breathable atmosphere, producing approximately 28% of the world's oxygen while processing vast amounts of carbon dioxide. The Amazon alone has been called the lungs of the earth, though this role is shared among all the world's forests. Every breath you take right now contains oxygen molecules that may have been released by a rainforest tree thousands of miles away. But the rainforest's role goes beyond just oxygen production. They also store an estimated 150 billion metric tons of carbon in their trees, roots, and soil. This carbon storage helps regulate global temperatures and climate patterns. When trees photosynthesize, they pull carbon dioxide from the air and use it to build their trunks, branches, and leaves, effectively locking away carbon that would otherwise contribute to atmospheric warming. The larger and older the tree, the more carbon it stores, making the ancient giants of the rainforest some of our planet's most important allies in maintaining a stable climate. Tropical rainforests exist in a belt around Earth's equator, where warm temperatures and abundant rainfall create perfect conditions for lush growth. You'll find them in South America, Central Africa, Southeast Asia, and parts of Australia and the Pacific Islands. Each of these regions hosts its own unique variety of rainforest, shaped by local geology, climate patterns, and evolutionary history. The rainforests of Borneo and Sumatra in Southeast Asia contain some of the oldest and most diverse forests on Earth, with tree species that exist nowhere else. The Congo Basin in Central Africa is the world's second largest rainforest, home to forest elephants, gorillas, and okapi. Meanwhile, the rainforests of Papua New Guinea remain some of the least explored on our planet, with new species discovered regularly. Even the small pockets of rainforest in Queensland, Australia, contain ancient lineages of plants that have survived since the time when Australia was part of the supercontinent Gondwana, making them living links to a world that existed over 100 million years ago. Rainforests have quite distinct layers which merge together to form complex ecosystems. The emergent layer consists of the tallest trees which break through the main canopy, reaching heights of 50 to 70 meters. These giant emergents stand like green islands in the sky, enduring fierce winds and intense sunlight that the forest below never experiences. Up here, the conditions are almost desert-like during the day, scorching hot with intense UV radiation and dry winds that would quickly desiccate any unprepared plant. Yet these towering trees have adapted with thick, waxy leaves that prevent water loss and strong, flexible trunks that can bend in the wind without breaking. Eagles build their massive nests in these emergent crowns, surveying the green ocean below for prey. Butterflies with wingspans as wide as dinner plates flutter between emergent blooms. The view from up here, looking out across an endless sea of green stretching to every horizon, is something few humans ever witness, though the creatures born in these heights know no other world. The main canopy, sitting 30 to 45 meters above the ground, is where most rainforest life resides. This dense roof of interlocking branches and leaves forms a continuous green ceiling, creating an entire world suspended in the air. From the ground, looking up, you see only shadows and the occasional glimpse of sky through gaps in the foliage. But if you could somehow walk upon the canopy itself, you discover a landscape as rich and varied as any on the forest floor. Gardens of orchids and ferns, pools of water collected in the crooks of branches, highways of vines connecting tree to tree. Monkeys leap across gaps that would kill them if they fell. Birds nest in hollows and construct elaborate hanging structures. Even fish can be found here in the wet season, when floods rise high enough to submerge the lower canopy, and catfish swim through the branches eating fallen fruit. This is a frontier of biological research, and scientists must use climbing equipment, rope bridges, and construction cranes to access it, much like explorers of old reaching uncharted continents. Scientists estimate that 70 to 90% of all rainforest organisms live in the canopy layer. Many of these creatures spend their entire lives in the treetops, never once touching the forest floor. Some species of frogs lay their eggs in water-filled bromeliads 30 meters above the ground, and their tadpoles mature without ever leaving these aerial nurseries. Certain ants establish colonies entirely in the canopy, cultivating gardens and never sending workers down to earth. There are even earthworms that have adapted to life in the trees, spending their existence in the rich pockets of soil and organic matter that accumulate in branch crotches. For these creatures, the forest floor might as well be another planet, a dark, distant place they're not equipped to survive in. This vertical specialization means that the rainforest isn't really one habitat, but multiple distinct habitats stacked on top of each other, each with its own climate, light levels, and community of organisms that have evolved to thrive in those specific conditions. Below the canopy lies the understory, a dimly lit realm where only 2 to 5% of sunlight penetrates. Plants here have evolved large leaves to capture every precious photon of light. Walking through the understory feels like moving through an eternal twilight, where colors appear muted and sounds become muffled by the layers of vegetation above. The air here is remarkably still compared to the breezy canopy overhead, creating a humid, quiet atmosphere that feels almost cathedral-like in its stillness. Many understory plants have developed dark green or even reddish leaves packed with chlorophyll to maximize their ability to photosynthesize in low light. Some have evolved iridescent blue leaves that shimmer like butterfly wings. These special cells reflect blue light wavelengths while absorbing others, squeezing out every bit of energy from the limited light available. Ferns unfurl their fronds in slow motion here. Young palms wait patiently, sometimes for decades, for a gap in the canopy above to open so they can surge upward toward the light. It's a world of patience and adaptation, where success means finding innovative ways to survive in the shadows of giants. The ground level of a rainforest is surprisingly clear and easy to walk through. Contrary to popular belief, the lack of sunlight prevents dense undergrowth from forming. Instead, you'll find a carpet of decomposing leaves and a thin layer of nutrient-rich soil. When people imagine rainforests, they often picture impenetrable walls of vegetation, having to hack through with machetes with every step. But this Hollywood image comes from secondary growth forests or forest edges where sunlight reaches the ground. In the heart of an old-growth rainforest, you can often walk quite freely, stepping over roots and around tree trunks but not fighting through thick brush. The forest floor is a place of decomposition and recycling, where fallen leaves, dead branches, and deceased animals are broken down by an army of beetles, millipedes, fungi, bacteria, and other decomposers. This layer smells of earth and decay, not unpleasant, but rich and organic, the smell of life returning to soil. Fungi fruit here, pushing up mushrooms in extraordinary shapes and colors, some that glow in the dark, others that smell like rotting meat or fresh chocolate. Seeds that have fallen from above wait in the leaf litter, hoping to germinate if conditions become favorable, perhaps when a large tree falls and temporarily floods the area with light. True rainforests receive at least 200 centimeters of rain each year, with some areas receiving up to 1,000 centimeters annually. This constant moisture creates the humid, lush environment that defines these ecosystems. To put this in perspective, 200 centimeters is over 6 feet of rain. Imagine standing outside and having water accumulate to above your head if it couldn't drain away. In the wettest rainforests, it can rain almost every single day, sometimes multiple times a day. These aren't always the dramatic thunderstorms of temperate regions, though those certainly occur. Often, the rain comes as steady, soaking drizzle that can continue for hours, or sudden downpours that drum on the canopy with surprising force before stopping as quickly as they began. This near-constant moisture means everything in the rainforest is adapted to being wet. Tree bark often harbors colonies of algae and lichens. Fungi grow everywhere. Even the air feels thick with moisture, and within minutes of entering a rainforest, your skin becomes damp with the humidity. For the plants and animals that live here, this moisture is life itself, and their entire biology is structured around its abundance. Rainforests create much of their own rainfall through a process called transpiration. Trees release water vapor through their leaves, which rises, condenses, and falls again as rain. In the Amazon, approximately 50% of rainfall comes from this recycling process. Each large tree can transpire hundreds of liters of water per day, releasing it through tiny pores in their leaves called stomata. This water evaporates into the air above the canopy, where it cools, forms clouds, and eventually falls back down as rain. It's a self-sustaining cycle. The forest creates the conditions necessary for its own survival. This means that deforestation doesn't just remove trees, it actually changes the local and regional climate by disrupting this water cycle. Areas where forests have been cleared often become drier, as the rain that once fell there now moves past, carried by wind currents to fall elsewhere. Scientists have tracked individual water molecules and found that a single drop of rain might be absorbed by a tree, transpired back into the atmosphere, and fall as rain again 5 or 6 times before finally flowing out of the forest in a river. It's a beautiful example of nature's efficiency. Nothing wasted, everything cycled and recycled. The moisture released by the Amazon rainforest forms aerial rivers of water vapor that carry more water than the Amazon River itself. These atmospheric currents influence weather patterns across entire continents. Flying above the Amazon, pilots can sometimes see these rivers of humidity flowing like invisible streams through the air, visible only by the clouds they form. These aerial rivers travel thousands of kilometers, carrying moisture from the Amazon to the agricultural regions of southern Brazil, Paraguay, and Argentina, where they fall as rain that nourishes crops and fills reservoirs. Without the Amazon's contribution to atmospheric moisture, these regions would be far drier, possibly even desert. The water that falls in São Paulo might have been transpired by a tree in Peru just days before. The rain that waters farms in Argentina could have started its journey as moisture drawn up by roots from soil near the foot of the Andes. This continental-scale water distribution system works without pumps, pipes, or human intervention. It's simply the forest breathing, inhaling sunlight and exhaling moisture, hour after hour, day after day, year after year, for millions of years. Many rainforest trees develop impressive buttress roots that spread out from the trunk like architectural flying buttresses. These adaptations provide stability in the shallow soil and help the tree absorb nutrients from the forest floor. When you stand next to a tree with well-developed buttress roots, you can walk between them as if walking through a maze of wooden walls, some taller than your head. These roots spread out in a starburst pattern, sometimes extending 15 or 20 meters from the trunk, creating triangular spaces between them. The shape isn't just for show, it's engineering. By distributing the tree's weight over a larger area, buttress roots prevent the tree from toppling, even though most rainforest soil is surprisingly shallow, often only a few meters deep before reaching bedrock or clay. The shape also creates more surface area for the tree to absorb nutrients, which is crucial in nutrient-poor soil where most minerals are locked up in living biomass rather than stored in the ground. These roots are so solid that indigenous peoples sometimes use the spaces between them as shelters, and the roots themselves can be struck like drums to create booming sounds that carry long distances through the forest. Nutrients in rainforest soil are rapidly recycled. When leaves and organic matter fall to the forest floor, they're broken down within just 6 weeks by the countless decomposers working in the warm, moist environment. This is remarkably fast compared to temperate forests, where leaves might take a year or more to fully decompose. The speed of decomposition means that nutrients don't accumulate in the soil. They're quickly released and immediately taken back up by plant roots, which often form a dense mat just below the surface of the leaf litter. Some rainforest trees have roots that actually grow up into the decomposing matter rather than down into the soil. So efficient is this nutrient capture system. Fungi play a crucial role here, forming partnerships called mycorrhizae with tree roots. The fungi extend the tree's effective reach, spreading through the soil like a living internet, breaking down organic matter and transporting nutrients directly into the tree's root system in exchange for sugars produced by photosynthesis. If you were to remove all the trees from a rainforest, you'd find that the soil left behind is often surprisingly poor and thin, leading early settlers to incorrectly assume these lands would make good farmland. Without the constant recycling by the living forest, these soils quickly become depleted and unproductive. Strangler figs begin life as seeds deposited high in the canopy by birds. These seeds germinate and send roots down to the ground while their leaves reach upward. Over decades, the fig eventually envelopes and kills its host tree, standing as a hollow tower of intertwined roots. The process is remarkable to witness over time. The seed germinates in a crack in the host tree's bark, or in a clump of decomposing organic matter lodged in a branch. The tiny seedling sends thin, hair-like roots downward along the trunk. These roots grow slowly at first, searching for the ground below. Once they reach the soil, they anchor themselves and begin to thicken, sending nutrients up to the leaves growing in the light above. More roots descend, creating a lattice around the host tree. Gradually, these roots fuse together, tightening their grip. The fig's crown expands, shading out the host tree's leaves. Decade by decade, the host tree weakens, unable to compete for light and resources. Eventually, it dies and decomposes, leaving the strangler fig standing alone, its roots forming a hollow cylinder around the space where the host once stood. You can walk inside these hollow figs, looking up through the center like standing inside a wooden chimney. Despite this seemingly parasitic behavior, strangler figs play an important ecological role, often fruiting when other trees aren't, providing food for animals during otherwise lean times. Epiphytes are plants that grow on other plants without parasitizing them. In rainforests, these air plants include orchids, ferns, and bromeliads. A single tree in the canopy might support dozens of different epiphyte species. These plants have adapted to life without soil, gathering nutrients from rain, falling debris, and even from the air itself. Their roots grip bark but don't penetrate into the tree's tissues to steal nutrients like parasites do. Instead, they're simply using the tree as a platform to reach the light. Some orchids have specialized roots that can photosynthesize, adding to the plant's energy production. Others have roots covered in a spongy tissue that absorbs water like a paper towel, allowing the plant to stockpile moisture during rainy periods to survive dry spells. Epiphytes can be so abundant that their combined weight on a single tree can measure in the tons. They create gardens in the sky, adding layers of complexity to the forest. Birds nest among them. Insects shelter in them. They're ecosystems within ecosystems, worlds within worlds, each existing without touching the ground, sustained entirely by what falls from above and what they can capture from the rain. Bromeliad plants form natural water tanks in their leaf rosettes, creating tiny aquatic ecosystems in the trees. These miniature pools can hold up to 8 liters of water and provide homes for insects, frogs, and even small crabs. The structure of a bromeliad, with its leaves arranged in a spiral pattern that funnels toward a central reservoir, makes it a perfect water collector. Rain drains into the center, and the overlapping leaves prevent most of it from evaporating. Over time, these pools accumulate not just water but also organic matter. Fallen leaves, drowned insects, animal droppings from visitors. This organic soup becomes a nutrient source for the bromeliad, which absorbs dissolved nutrients through specialized cells on its leaves. But it also becomes a habitat. Mosquito larvae swim in these pools. Damselfly nymphs hunt them. Some frog species lay their eggs exclusively in bromeliads, and the tadpoles develop in these aerial ponds, sometimes with the mother frog returning periodically to deposit unfertilized eggs as food for her young. In larger bromeliads, you might find tiny crabs that spend their entire lives in these water tanks, never leaving the plant. Scientists have cataloged entire food webs within a single bromeliad, with predators and prey, herbivores and detritivores, all coexisting in a pool of water no larger than a mixing bowl, suspended 20 meters above the forest floor. The Rafflesia produces the largest individual flower on Earth, reaching up to 1 meter in diameter and weighing up to 11 kilograms. This parasitic plant has no visible leaves, roots, or stem, and its flower emits the smell of rotting flesh to attract pollinating flies. Finding a Rafflesia in bloom is considered extraordinarily lucky, as the flower only lasts a few days before collapsing into a slimy black mass. The plant spends most of its life as thread-like filaments growing inside the tissues of a vine, completely invisible from the outside. Only when it's ready to reproduce does it push out its enormous flower bud, which can take months to develop before finally opening. The flower's appearance is as strange as its lifestyle. thick, fleshy petals the color of rotting meat, covered in pale spots. The smell is overwhelmingly pungent, like a dead animal left in the sun, but flies find it irresistible and swarm to the bloom, crawling across its surface and inadvertently transferring pollen. Despite its size and dramatic appearance, Rafflesia remains somewhat mysterious to scientists. Successful pollination is rare, and the plants are difficult to study because they can't be cultivated outside their host vines. Each species of Rafflesia parasitizes specific vine species, making conservation efforts complex, as protecting the flower means also protecting its host and the forest ecosystem both depend on. Lianas are woody vines that root in the soil and climb trees to reach the canopy. They form an interconnected network through the forest, creating highways for animals and sometimes binding multiple trees together in a living web. Some lianas can be as thick as a person's thigh and stretch for hundreds of meters through the forest, looping from tree to tree like massive cables. Unlike epiphytes, lianas remain rooted in the ground throughout their lives, using trees merely as support structures to climb toward light. Their growth strategy is efficient. Why invest energy in growing a massive supporting trunk when you can use someone else's structure? Lianas grow rapidly, and their flexible woody stems can twist and loop, allowing them to bridge gaps between trees. This creates pathways that arboreal animals use to travel through the canopy without descending to the ground. Monkeys grab lianas to swing across spaces. Sloths use them as bridges. Some animals even use hanging lianas as playground equipment, with young monkeys playing on them like children on vines. However, lianas can be problematic for trees, as they compete for light and add weight to branches. When strong winds blow, liana-connected trees can pull each other down in domino effects. Despite this, they're an integral part of the forest structure, and their abundance is actually increasing in many rainforests, possibly due to changing climate conditions that favor their growth strategy. Chocolate comes from the cacao tree, which grows naturally in the understory of Central and South American rainforests. Remarkably, cacao flowers and pods grow directly from the trunk and main branches, a phenomenon called cauliflory. This unusual growth pattern is thought to make pollination and fruit dispersal easier in the dim understory environment. The flowers are tiny, barely a centimeter across, and delicate, with pale petals. They grow in clusters directly from the bark, looking almost like they've been glued onto the tree. Only a tiny fraction of these flowers will be successfully pollinated by the small midges that serve as the cacao tree's primary pollinators. Those that are successful develop into the distinctive football-shaped pods that can be yellow, red, or purple when ripe. Inside each pod, 30 to 40 cacao beans are surrounded by white, sweet pulp. In the wild, animals such as monkeys and squirrels break open the pods to eat the pulp, discarding or dispersing the bitter beans. The beans must undergo fermentation and roasting before they develop the chocolate flavor we know. The raw bean tastes astringent and unpleasant. Ancient Mesoamerican cultures discovered this transformation process thousands of years ago, and cacao became so valuable that beans were used as currency. Today, all the chocolate in the world still comes from varieties of this humble understory tree, though most is now grown in plantations far from its rainforest origins. At least 25% of all modern pharmaceuticals derive from rainforest plants. From cancer treatments to pain relievers, these forests provide invaluable compounds, yet we've only studied a tiny fraction of the plant species that exist. The rosy periwinkle from Madagascar's rainforests provides compounds used to treat childhood leukemia and Hodgkin's disease. The bark of the cinchona tree gave us quinine, the first effective treatment for malaria. Curare, used by indigenous peoples as arrow poison, became a muscle relaxant used in surgery. The list goes on and on. Plants produce these complex chemical compounds as defenses against insects, fungi, and diseases, and it turns out many of these chemicals also interact with human biology in useful ways. Each unstudied plant species potentially contains dozens or hundreds of unique compounds that might treat diseases, fight infections, or regulate biological processes in ways we haven't imagined. When a rainforest species goes extinct, it takes with it millions of years of evolutionary chemistry experimentation, knowledge we can never recover. Scientists estimate that we're losing potential medicines at an alarming rate as species disappear before we can even catalog them, let alone analyze their chemical properties. The next cure for cancer, Alzheimer's disease, or antibiotic-resistant infections might be growing right now in a rainforest, in a plant no scientist has ever examined. Some rainforest trees can grow several meters in a single year. The balsa tree, despite producing the lightest commercial wood, can grow to 27 meters in just 7 years. This remarkable growth rate is possible because of the constant warmth, abundant moisture, and year-round growing season that rainforests provide. Without the harsh winters that force trees in temperate regions into dormancy, rainforest trees can photosynthesize and grow continuously. Balsa achieves its rapid growth through a trade-off. Its wood is extremely lightweight because it's full of air spaces, making it weak and short-lived compared to denser hardwoods. Most balsa trees don't live beyond 30 or 40 years, whereas some rainforest hardwoods can live for 1,000 years or more. These slower-growing trees produce incredibly dense wood that's resistant to rot, termites, and fungal attack, necessities for surviving in the humid rainforest environment. Some ironwood trees grow so slowly and densely that their wood actually sinks in water and is nearly impossible to cut with conventional saws. The growth rate also affects ecological relationships. Fast-growing pioneer species quickly colonize gaps created by fallen trees, while shade-tolerant species slowly grow up underneath, waiting for their chance at the canopy. The Socratia exoryza, sometimes called the walking palm, appears to slowly walk across the forest floor. While it doesn't truly walk, it does grow new roots toward light while old roots die, allowing the tree to shift its position by up to 20 centimeters per year. This unusual behavior gives the tree a distinctive appearance, with its trunk appearing to stand on a cone of stilt-like roots, almost as if it's balanced on legs. The mechanism is elegant. If the tree finds itself in shade, perhaps because a neighboring tree has grown and blocked the light, it responds by growing new roots on the sunnier side while allowing roots on the shadier side to gradually die and decompose. Over years and decades, this results in the tree's position shifting across the forest floor. Whether this truly counts as walking is debated among botanists. Some argue it's simply normal growth and death processes. Others maintain it represents a genuine mobility adaptation. Regardless of semantics, it's a remarkable example of how plants, despite lacking muscles and nervous systems, can still respond and adapt to their environments in sophisticated ways. The walking palm reminds us that the border between plants and animals, between sessile and mobile organisms, isn't always as clear-cut as we might think. The jaguar is the largest cat in the Americas and the only Panthera species found in the New World. Unlike most big cats, jaguars are powerful swimmers and often hunt in rivers, where they can take down caimans and large fish. A jaguar's bite is extraordinarily powerful, proportionally the strongest bite force of any big cat. While lions and tigers kill by suffocating their prey with a throat bite, jaguars often kill with a single bite to the skull, their canines punching directly through bone into the brain. This allows them to tackle well-armored prey like turtles and armored catfish that other predators would struggle with. Jaguars are solitary and secretive, marking their territories with claw marks on trees and with scent. A male's territory might span 50 to 100 square kilometers, overlapping with the territories of several females. They hunt primarily at dawn and dusk, moving through their domain on well-worn trails, their spotted coats providing perfect camouflage in the dappled light of the forest. Their presence indicates a healthy ecosystem, as they require large territories with abundant prey populations. Indigenous cultures throughout Central and South America revered jaguars, and they appear prominently in the mythology and art of the Maya, Aztec, and many Amazonian tribes, often associated with power, the night, and the underworld. Poison dart frogs are brilliantly colored frogs that secrete some of the most potent toxins in the animal kingdom through their skin. Indigenous peoples have used these toxins for centuries to tip their hunting arrows. Interestingly, poison dart frogs raised in captivity are not poisonous, as they derive their toxicity from their wild diet. The frogs don't produce the toxins themselves. Instead, they sequester alkaloid compounds from the insects they eat, particularly from ants and mites. In captivity, fed on fruit flies and crickets that lack these compounds, the frogs grow up completely harmless. This discovery has led scientists to investigate which specific prey species contain which toxins, revealing a complex chemical ecology. The frog's brilliant colors, reds, yellows, blues, and oranges in various combinations, serve as warning signals to potential predators, advertising their toxicity. This is called aposematic coloration. Once a predator has a bad experience trying to eat a poison dart frog, it learns to avoid anything with similar coloring. Different populations of the same species sometimes have dramatically different color patterns, leading early naturalists to classify them as separate species until genetic analysis revealed they were all closely related. These tiny frogs, often no larger than a thumbnail, carry enough toxin to kill several adult humans, making them among the most poisonous animals on Earth, though they're completely non-aggressive and pose no threat unless handled. Sloths are so well adapted to an arboreal life that they can actually drown if forced to swim for too long, despite being capable swimmers. Their metabolism is incredibly slow. Digesting a single meal can take up to a month. This slow metabolism is key to the sloth's survival strategy. By moving slowly and eating leaves, which are low in nutrients and difficult to digest, sloths keep their energy requirements minimal. They have specialized multi-chambered stomachs filled with symbiotic bacteria that help break down the cellulose in leaves, similar to how cows digest grass. This process is so slow that partially digested food can account for 30% of a sloth's body weight. Sloths only descend from their trees about once a week to defecate, always using the same spot at the base of their home tree. This behavior puzzles scientists, as it exposes the sloth to ground predators and seems unnecessarily risky. The going theory is that this behavior helps fertilize the sloth's food trees, creating a mutualistic relationship, though recent research suggests it might also help maintain the sloth's relationship with certain moths that live in its fur. Everything about a sloth is optimized for energy conservation. They have about half the muscle mass of similarly sized mammals and maintain a lower body temperature that fluctuates with the environment, more like a reptile than a mammal. The fur of sloths often has a greenish tinge because algae grow in the grooves of their hair. This symbiotic relationship provides camouflage for the sloth, while the algae receive a mobile home and nutrients from the sloth's waste. Under a microscope, sloth fur looks like a miniature forest. Each hair has cracks and grooves where algae and fungi establish themselves. During the rainy season, when moisture is abundant, the algae bloom, turning the sloth distinctly green and helping it blend seamlessly into the leafy canopy. In the dry season, the algae die back and the sloth appears more gray-brown. But it's not just algae living in sloth fur. Each individual sloth hosts an entire ecosystem. Moths, beetles, cockroaches, and ticks all make their homes in the dense fur. One sloth can host hundreds of individual insects. Some of these, particularly certain moth species, have become so specialized to life in sloth fur that they can't survive anywhere else. The moths lay their eggs in sloth dung, and when the sloth descends to defecate, the moths fly down to lay their eggs before returning to the fur. When the eggs hatch, the moth larvae feed on the dung, then eventually emerge as adults and fly up into the canopy in search of a sloth to colonize. It's a bizarre, intricate relationship that scientists are still working to fully understand. The harpy eagle is one of the most powerful raptors on Earth. With talons larger than a grizzly bear's claws, these magnificent birds can snatch sloths and monkeys from the canopy with remarkable precision. A harpy eagle's talons can be 13 centimeters long and exert crushing pressure powerful enough to break a human arm. They hunt by perching motionlessly in the canopy, using their excellent eyesight to spot prey, then launching in a swift attack, maneuvering through branches with surprising agility for such a large bird. Their wingspan can exceed 2 meters, yet they can navigate dense canopy with precision, their broad wings and long tail providing the control needed to fly through cluttered environments. Harpy eagles mate for life and build enormous nests high in the tallest trees, nests they return to and maintain year after year. They raise only one chick every 2 to 3 years, investing tremendous parental care in that single offspring. The young eagle remains dependent on its parents for up to a year after fledging, learning the complex skills needed to hunt in the three-dimensional labyrinth of the canopy. The chick stays in the nest for 6 months before fledging, one of the longest nestling periods of any bird. Harpy eagles are so powerful and impressive that they feature prominently in the mythology of many indigenous Amazonian cultures, often associated with strength, vision, and the spirit world. Unfortunately, they require vast areas of undisturbed forest to survive, and their populations are declining as their habitat shrinks. Seeing a harpy eagle in the wild is an experience few people ever have, a glimpse of prehistoric power, a reminder of when massive raptors ruled the skies. Leafcutter ants don't eat the leaves they harvest. Instead, they carry leaf fragments to underground gardens where they cultivate a specific fungus. The fungus breaks down the leaves and serves as the ant's primary food source. These insects are essentially farmers. Watching a leafcutter ant colony at work is mesmerizing. Columns of workers march along cleared trails, each carrying a piece of leaf held overhead like a tiny green sail. Some pieces are larger than the ant carrying them, creating the impression of leaves moving by themselves through the forest. The underground nest can be enormous, extending several meters deep and containing hundreds of chambers. In the largest colonies, millions of ants work in a coordinated society with a complex division of labor. The smallest workers tend the fungus gardens, carefully weeding out contaminating fungi and bacteria. Medium-sized workers cut and carry leaves. Large soldiers defend the colony with powerful jaws. The fungus they cultivate is found nowhere else in nature. It exists only in leafcutter ant colonies, having been domesticated by the ants millions of years ago. The ants even produce antibiotic compounds to protect their crops from disease. When a queen ant leaves to start a new colony, she carries a small sample of fungus in a special pocket in her mouth, ensuring she can start a new garden in her new home. This ant-fungus partnership is one of the most sophisticated examples of agriculture in the animal kingdom, predating human farming by about 50 million years. The world's largest rodent calls the rainforest home. Capybaras can weigh up to 66 kilograms and are highly social animals, often found in groups of 10 to 20 individuals near water sources. These gentle giants look like oversized guinea pigs, with barrel-shaped bodies, short legs, and blunt faces. They're supremely adapted to an aquatic lifestyle, with webbed feet for swimming and eyes, ears, and nostrils positioned high on their heads so they can remain mostly submerged while staying alert. Capybaras are excellent swimmers and can stay underwater for up to 5 minutes to escape predators. They spend much of their day in or near water, both to stay cool and to avoid predators like jaguars and caimans. Ironically, some of their predators also hunt in water, so capybaras must remain constantly vigilant. Their social structure is complex, with a dominant male leading each group and maintaining his position through displays and occasional fights. They communicate through a variety of vocalizations, purrs, barks, whistles, and clicks, each conveying different information. Capybaras are grazers, eating grass and aquatic plants, and like many rodents, they practice coprophagy, eating some of their own feces to extract maximum nutrition from their plant-based diet. Despite their size, they're generally docile and have become somewhat comfortable around humans in areas where they're not hunted, sometimes appearing in urban parks and golf courses in South American cities. Despite their name, electric eels are actually a type of fish, not true eels. These remarkable creatures can generate electrical discharges of up to 600 volts, which they use both for hunting and for navigation in the murky waters of the Amazon basin. The electric eel's body contains thousands of specialized cells called electrocytes that function like biological batteries. When the eel wants to discharge, these cells fire simultaneously, creating a powerful electrical pulse. The eel can control the intensity of its discharge. Low-voltage pulses are used for navigation and communication with other eels, while high-voltage shocks are reserved for stunning prey and defending against predators. A full-power discharge from a large electric eel can knock a full-grown horse off its feet and is certainly strong enough to be dangerous to humans. However, the eel prefers to avoid using its maximum power unless necessary, as generating these discharges requires significant energy. Electric eels must surface to breathe air every 10 minutes or so, as they obtain about 80% of their oxygen from the atmosphere rather than from the water through gills. This adaptation allows them to survive in oxygen-poor water where other fish would suffocate. They can grow to over 2 meters in length, making them one of the largest freshwater fish in South America. Young electric eels eat invertebrates, but adults prey on fish and small mammals that venture into the water. The electrical sense is so refined that electric eels can detect the electrical fields produced by other animals' muscle contractions, effectively allowing them to see in water too murky for vision to be useful. Glass frogs have translucent skin on their bellies, allowing you to see their internal organs, including their beating heart and digestive system. This remarkable transparency may help them blend in with their leafy environment. When a glass frog perches on a leaf, light passes through its transparent belly, eliminating the shadow that might otherwise give away its position to predators. From below, looking up, predators see only the green of the leaf, not the frog. The transparency is achieved through a lack of pigmentation in the skin and by having reduced amounts of connective tissue that would normally scatter light. Most glass frogs are small, measuring only 2 to 3 centimeters in length, and they're found primarily in the cloud forests and rainforests of Central and South America. Males are territorial and call from leaves overhanging streams, defending their calling sites from rivals. After mating, females lay their eggs on these leaves, and the males often guard the eggs until they hatch. When the tadpoles emerge, they drop directly into the stream below, where they'll develop among the rocks and leaf litter of the streambed. Scientists have discovered that glass frogs have an unusual behavior related to their transparency. When they sleep during the day, they hide most of their red blood cells in their liver, reducing the visibility of blood vessels and making themselves even more transparent. When they become active at night, the red blood cells redistribute throughout the body. This active camouflage mechanism was only recently discovered and represents a unique adaptation in vertebrates. Howler monkeys produce the loudest call of any land animal. Their howls can be heard up to 5 kilometers away through the dense rainforest. They have a specialized vocal chamber and enlarged hyoid bone that amplifies their voice. The hyoid bone, normally a small bone supporting the tongue, has evolved in howler monkeys into a large, hollow structure that functions as a resonating chamber, similar to the body of a guitar amplifying the strings. Males have larger hyoid bones than females and produce deeper, louder calls. The howling serves multiple purposes. It allows groups to advertise their location to other groups, helping to avoid direct confrontations over territory, and it helps group members maintain contact in dense vegetation where visibility is limited. The calling typically happens at dawn and dusk, creating a chorus that echoes through the forest. If you've never heard howler monkeys, it's difficult to describe adequately. The sound is somewhere between a roar and a prolonged, whooping howl, with an otherworldly quality that can be unsettling if you don't know what's making it. Despite their vocal power, Howler monkeys are actually quite peaceful and sedentary compared to other primates. They feed primarily on leaves, which are abundant but low in nutrition, so they conserve energy by moving slowly and resting frequently. They live in groups of 10 to 20 individuals with multiple males and females, and they spend most of their time in the canopy, rarely descending to the ground. Also known as the Jesus Christ lizard, the basilisk can run across the surface of water for short distances. By slapping the water rapidly with their large feet, they create tiny air pockets that prevent them from sinking, allowing them to escape predators. The mechanics of this ability are fascinating. Basilisks run upright on their hind legs when sprinting across water, pumping their legs at about 20 steps per second. Each foot is fringed with scales that unfurl when the foot strikes the water, increasing the surface area. The lizard slaps down with enough force to create a cavity in the water surface, then pushes off before the cavity collapses, effectively running on a series of temporary air pockets. They can maintain this water running for distances of 4 to 5 meters before they start to sink, at which point they switch to swimming. Young basilisks, being lighter, are more successful at water running than adults. This spectacular ability is primarily used to escape predators. When threatened, a basilisk will dash for the nearest water and simply run across it to safety, leaving bewildered predators behind. On land, basilisks are also fast runners and excellent climbers, able to scale trees quickly. They feed on insects, flowers, and fruits, and they're commonly found near streams and rivers where they can employ their water-running escape strategy. Males develop dramatic crests on their heads and backs, making them look like miniature dinosaurs, which combined with their water-running ability, has made them popular in wildlife documentaries and a source of local legend in their Central American rainforest home. The rainforests of the world are home to over 3,000 bird species. In just 1 hectare of Amazon rainforest, you might find more bird species than in all of North America. This extraordinary diversity reflects the structural complexity and resource abundance of rainforests. Different species occupy different niches. Some forage on the forest floor, others in the understory, still others in the canopy or emergent layer. Some specialize in eating fruits, others insects, nectar, seeds, or even other birds. The timing of activity varies too. While most birds are diurnal, some species are crepuscular or nocturnal. This fine-scale partitioning of resources allows dozens or even hundreds of species to coexist in the same area without competing directly. Many rainforest birds have evolved spectacular plumage, from the iridescent blues and greens of hummingbirds to the vibrant reds and yellows of tanagers and the elaborate plumes of birds of paradise. This coloration serves various purposes, attracting mates, signaling species identity, and establishing territory. The dawn chorus in a rainforest is an overwhelming symphony, with dozens of species calling simultaneously, each song distinct, layering over each other in a celebration of diversity. Bird song often carries better in the dense vegetation than visual signals, so vocalization is crucial for communication. Some species, like the antbirds, have learned to follow army ant swarms, catching insects that flee from the advancing ant columns. Others, like parrots, fly long distances each day to clay licks, where they consume mineral-rich clay that helps neutralize toxins in their diet of unripe fruits. Macaws mate for life, forming bonds that can last 50 years or more. These intelligent, colorful parrots are often seen flying in pairs, and if one partner dies, the surviving bird may never take another mate. The pair bond between macaws is reinforced through constant interaction. They fly together, forage together, preen each other's feathers, and call to each other frequently. They nest in holes in large trees, often using the same nest site year after year. Both parents care for the chicks, with the female doing most of the incubation while the male brings food. The young remain with their parents for up to a year, learning the locations of food sources, water, and clay licks across their home range. Macaws are highly social beyond their pair bonds, often gathering in large flocks at clay licks or roosting sites. They're also remarkably long-lived, with some individuals reaching 70 or even 80 years in captivity, and likely living several decades in the wild. This longevity makes their lifelong pair bonds all the more remarkable. Macaws are highly intelligent, capable of solving puzzles, using tools, and even mimicking human speech in captivity. In the wild, they feed primarily on nuts, fruits, and seeds, and their powerful beaks can crack nuts that would require a hammer to open. Unfortunately, many macaw species are endangered due to habitat loss and capture for the pet trade, and some species have already gone extinct in the wild, surviving only in captivity. A toucan's enormous, colorful bill can be up to 1/3 of the bird's total length. Despite its size, the bill is remarkably light, made of hollow bone struts covered in keratin. It helps regulate body temperature and may play a role in attracting mates. The bill's structure is an engineering marvel. It's strong enough to crack hard fruits and nuts, yet light enough not to unbalance the bird. The hollow structure contains a honeycomb of bone struts that provide reinforcement while minimizing weight. Blood vessels run through the bill, and by adjusting blood flow, the toucan can radiate heat or conserve it, essentially using the bill as a thermal radiator. This is particularly useful in the hot rainforest environment. The bright colors, yellows, oranges, reds, and blacks in various patterns, likely play a role in species recognition and mate selection. Each toucan species has its own distinctive bill pattern, allowing birds to identify potential mates and competitors at a distance. Toucans feed primarily on fruits, playing an important role in seed dispersal. They can't crush seeds with their bills, so they swallow fruits whole and later regurgitate or defecate the seeds, often far from the parent tree. They also opportunistically eat insects, lizards, and even nestling birds. Toucans are social birds, often seen in small flocks, and they sleep communally in tree holes, sometimes with several birds tucked together in the same cavity. They have a distinctive hopping flight, alternating between flapping and gliding, and their calls, which can be heard from considerable distances, sound like croaking or yelping. The hoatzin, found in the Amazon basin, is sometimes called the stink bird because of its unusual digestive system. It's the only bird that digests food like a cow, using bacterial fermentation, which produces a distinctive manure-like odor. The hoatzin's digestive system includes a large, muscular crop where plant matter ferments, breaking down the cellulose in leaves through bacterial action. This process produces gases that give the bird its characteristic smell. Because the enlarged crop takes up so much space in the body cavity, the flight muscles are reduced, making hoatzins weak flyers. They're clumsy in the air, flapping heavily and gliding short distances between trees. Hoatzins feed almost entirely on leaves, flowers, and fruits, and they spend most of their time sitting in trees overhanging water, digesting their food. One of the most remarkable features of young hoatzins is that they have claws on their wings, a primitive trait that helps chicks climb around in vegetation. If threatened, young hoatzins will drop from their nest into the water below, swimming underwater to safety, then using their wing claws to climb back up to the nest once danger has passed. This unusual trait has led scientists to investigate the hoatzins' evolutionary relationships, and it appears to be a very ancient bird lineage, having diverged early from other modern birds. The hoatzin is the national bird of Guyana and appears on that country's coat of arms. Hummingbirds can beat their wings up to 80 times per second and are the only birds capable of sustained hovering and flying backward. Their hearts beat over 1,000 times per minute, and they must consume half their body weight in nectar daily. This incredible metabolism is necessary to power their unique flight capabilities. Hummingbirds can hover in place, fly forward, backward, and even upside down for short periods. They achieve this through a highly modified wing structure where the shoulder joint allows rotation in almost any direction. During hovering, the wings trace a figure-8 pattern, providing lift on both forward and backward strokes. This requires tremendous energy. A hovering hummingbird's metabolic rate is about 100 times that of a resting human. To fuel this metabolism, hummingbirds feed constantly during daylight hours, visiting hundreds or even thousands of flowers each day. They have evolved long, specialized tongues that can extend well beyond the bill's tip to lap up nectar. The tongue isn't hollow like a straw, as once thought, but has a forked tip that uses capillary action to draw up nectar. Many rainforest flowers have co-evolved with hummingbirds, developing long, tubular shapes and red coloration that attracts these birds while excluding other pollinators. At night, when they can't feed, hummingbirds enter a state called torpor, lowering their body temperature and metabolic rate to conserve energy. Some species migrate thousands of kilometers between breeding and wintering grounds, an incredible feat for birds that weigh less than a coin. The diversity of insects and invertebrates is beyond imagination. Scientists estimate that 1 square kilometer of rainforest may contain up to 8 million different arthropod species. Most of these insects remain unknown to science, quietly living out their lives in the canopy above. Insects fill every conceivable ecological niche: predators, prey, parasites, decomposers, pollinators, and herbivores. They range in size from tiny wasps barely visible to the naked eye to beetles as large as a human hand. Many have evolved remarkable adaptations: leaf insects that look exactly like leaves, complete with veins and even fake insect damage; stick insects that can remain motionless for hours, indistinguishable from twigs; katydids with wings that mimic leaves in extraordinary detail, including spots that look like fungal infections. The complexity of insect life cycles adds another dimension to diversity. Many species completely change form multiple times, with larvae, pupae, and adults looking nothing alike and occupying entirely different ecological roles. A caterpillar might eat leaves, while the adult butterfly drinks nectar and pollinates flowers. The sheer number of insects is equally staggering. It's estimated that insects might account for over half of all individual organisms in the rainforest, with ants alone potentially outnumbering all other animals combined. This incredible diversity of insects makes them fundamental to rainforest function, driving decomposition, pollination, and serving as food for countless other animals. A single rainforest reserve in Peru is home to over 1,200 butterfly species. By comparison, all of Europe has fewer than 400 butterfly species. This astonishing diversity reflects the perfect conditions for butterfly life: abundant flowers providing nectar, diverse plants providing food for caterpillars, year-round warmth allowing continuous breeding, and complex structure offering countless microhabitats. Rainforest butterflies range from tiny species with wingspans measured in millimeters to giants like the Atlas moth with a wingspan approaching 30 centimeters. Many display iridescent colors produced not by pigments but by microscopic structures on their wing scales that refract light, creating shimmering blues and greens that seem to glow. Some butterflies are transparent, with clear wings that make them nearly invisible in flight. Others mimic leaves, bark, or bird droppings to avoid predators. Many species engage in mimicry rings, where multiple species evolve similar warning coloration, reinforcing the message to predators that they're toxic or unpalatable. Butterflies play crucial roles as pollinators, and some plants rely entirely on specific butterfly species for reproduction. Adult butterflies typically live only a few weeks, spending their time feeding, mating, and laying eggs before dying. However, some species migrate long distances or enter dormancy during unfavorable periods, extending their lifespan. Indigenous peoples have long appreciated butterfly beauty, incorporating butterfly imagery into their art and sometimes using butterfly wings in ceremonial decorations. The bullet ant has the most painful sting of any insect, described as causing waves of intense pain for up to 24 hours. Some indigenous tribes use them in initiation rites, where young men must wear gloves filled with bullet ants as a test of endurance. The pain from a bullet ant sting is rated as a 4+ on the Schmidt Pain Index, the highest rating, reserved for the most painful stings. People who have experienced it describe it as feeling like being shot, hence the name, or like walking on hot coals with nails driven through your feet. The venom contains a neurotoxin called ponerotoxin that affects sodium channels in nerves, causing immediate and intense pain. Beyond the initial sting, the affected area throbs and aches for hours or even days. The Satirmã people of Brazil use bullet ants in an initiation ceremony where boys as young as 12 must wear gloves woven with hundreds of bullet ants, stingers pointing inward, for 10 minutes. This must be repeated 20 times over several months or years to complete the initiation into manhood. Despite this fearsome reputation, bullet ants are not aggressive unless defending their nest or if handled. They're actually quite beneficial in the ecosystem, preying on other insects and helping control pest populations. Workers are large for ants, measuring up to 3 centimeters, making them look more like wasps than typical ants. They nest at the bases of trees and forage in the canopy, and their presence helps protect certain trees from herbivorous insects, forming a mutualistic relationship. The Titan beetle of the Amazon can grow up to 17 centimeters in length, making it one of the largest insects in the world. Despite their impressive size, adult Titan beetles don't eat, relying entirely on fat reserves built up during their larval stage. The larvae remain mysterious to science. Despite intensive searching, no one has ever found a Titan beetle larva in the wild. Based on boreholes found in dead trees, scientists believe the larvae tunnel through decaying wood for several years, possibly as long as a decade, before pupating and emerging as adults. The adults live only a few weeks, using that time to find mates and reproduce. Adult males are attracted to light and are sometimes found at night in areas near rainforests. The beetles are powerful flyers despite their size, and their wing beats produce an audible hum. They have large, powerful mandibles capable of snapping pencils in half and can deliver a painful bite if handled carelessly. However, they're not aggressive and typically use their mandibles only for defense and to grip during mating. The Titan beetle's size is limited by the physics of the insect body plan. Without an internal skeleton and with a circulatory system that relies on diffusion rather than active pumping, insects can only grow so large before their respiratory and structural systems become inefficient. The Titan beetle pushes close to this theoretical size limit, representing perhaps the largest an insect can grow under Earth's current atmospheric conditions. Some termite species build massive mounds that can reach up to 9 meters tall and house millions of individuals. These structures maintain remarkably stable temperatures and humidity through sophisticated ventilation systems designed by insects no larger than a grain of rice. The architecture of termite mounds is so effective that human architects have studied them when designing naturally ventilated buildings. The mounds function like giant lungs, drawing in cool air at the base and exhausting warm air at the top through convection currents. As hot air rises through the mound's central chimney, it draws cool air up from underground chambers, creating a continuous circulation that keeps the internal temperature stable even as external temperatures fluctuate dramatically. This is crucial because termites cultivate fungi in special chambers within the mound, and these fungi require specific temperature and humidity conditions to thrive. The mound structure also protects against flooding during heavy rains and provides defense against predators. The walls are incredibly hard, built from soil mixed with termite saliva and excrement, creating a concrete-like material that can last for decades. Inside, the colony maintains a complex social structure with a queen that can live for over 20 years, producing thousands of eggs per day. Workers maintain the fungus gardens, soldiers defend against intruders, and specialized reproductives eventually leave to establish new colonies. The entire colony functions like a superorganism, with millions of individual termites working in coordination without any central control, each following simple behavioral rules that produce emergent complexity at the colony level. The Amazon River discharges more water than the next 7 largest rivers combined. During the rainy season, it can be up to 48 kilometers wide in some sections, creating what looks like a freshwater sea. The Amazon's water flow is so massive that where it meets the Atlantic Ocean, fresh water extends over 100 kilometers into the ocean, creating a brackish mixing zone. The river carries approximately 20% of all river water on Earth that flows into oceans. This enormous volume comes from the Amazon basin's huge size and the heavy rainfall that feeds countless tributaries. The river system includes over 1,000 tributaries, with several being major rivers in their own right. The water level varies dramatically between wet and dry seasons. In some areas, the difference can be up to 15 meters, roughly the height of a 5-story building. During high water, vast areas of forest become flooded, creating what's called Varzea forest, where fish swim between trees and dolphins navigate through flooded forest. The sediment carried by the Amazon, hundreds of millions of tons per year, creates nutrient-rich waters that support enormous populations of fish and other aquatic life. Different tributaries have distinctly colored water based on their source geology and vegetation. Some are tea-colored from tannins, others milky with glacial sediment, and where differently colored rivers meet, they can flow side by side for kilometers before fully mixing, creating visible boundaries in the water that look almost like walls separating different worlds. The Amazon river dolphin, or boto, is one of only a handful of freshwater dolphin species. These dolphins are born gray but turn pink as they mature, with males becoming pinker than females. They can turn their heads 90 degrees and navigate flooded forests with ease. The pink coloration comes from blood vessels close to the skin surface and seems to intensify when the dolphins are excited or exercising, functioning somewhat like blushing. Unlike ocean dolphins, botas have unfused neck vertebrae, giving them the flexibility to navigate around trees and through complex underwater vegetation. Their long, narrow beaks contain up to 140 teeth, and they use echolocation to navigate and hunt in murky water where vision is useless. Botas are remarkably intelligent and curious, often approaching boats and sometimes playing with humans. In local folklore, they're said to transform into handsome young men who seduce women, and harming a boto is considered bad luck in many communities. They're generally solitary or found in small groups, unlike their ocean cousins who form large pods. Botas feed on a variety of fish, using their flexible necks and dexterous beaks to probe in mud and around underwater obstacles. They face increasing threats from habitat loss, pollution, and deliberate killing by fishermen who see them as competition. Climate change is also affecting water levels and fish populations, adding to the challenges these remarkable creatures face. Despite their fearsome reputation, piranhas are generally not dangerous to humans. They're primarily scavengers and only exhibit aggressive feeding behavior when food is scarce or during certain breeding periods. The image of piranhas as mindless killing machines that can strip a cow to bones in minutes is largely Hollywood fiction, exaggerated from observations of abnormal conditions where fish were starved or stressed. In reality, piranhas are an important part of the aquatic ecosystem, cleaning up dead and dying animals and controlling populations of other fish. There are dozens of piranha species, and most are quite small, measuring only 15 to 25 centimeters. Some species are actually vegetarian, feeding primarily on fruits and seeds that fall into the water. The carnivorous species have razor-sharp triangular teeth that fit together like scissors, allowing them to strip meat efficiently, but they typically feed on fish, insects, and carrion rather than attacking healthy large animals. People swim safely in piranha-inhabited waters throughout the Amazon without incident. The fish are actually quite skittish and tend to flee from large disturbances in the water. That said, piranhas can be dangerous under certain circumstances, when trapped in shrinking pools during the dry season with limited food, when protecting nests during breeding season, or if attracted by blood or struggling animals in the water. Indigenous peoples have traditionally used piranha jaws as scissors and arrowheads, and the fish remain an important food source in many communities. One of the world's largest freshwater fish, the arapaima, can grow up to 3 meters long and weigh over 200 kilograms. These ancient fish must surface to breathe air every 10 to 20 minutes, making them vulnerable to fishermen but perfectly adapted to oxygen-poor floodwaters. The arapaima is a living fossil, having remained largely unchanged for millions of years. Its scales are among the toughest of any fish, providing excellent protection against piranhas and other predators. Scientists have studied arapaima scales as inspiration for developing new types of body armor, as the scales can absorb impact without breaking through a clever layered structure. Arapaima hunt by swimming slowly near the surface, then striking with surprising speed to engulf prey, usually fish, but occasionally birds or small mammals that venture too close to the water. The fish uses its air-breathing ability to inhabit waters where other large fish would suffocate, giving it access to rich food sources with limited competition. Indigenous peoples have fished for arapaima for thousands of years, and the fish features prominently in local mythology and art. Unfortunately, overfishing has severely depleted wild populations, as the fish's need to surface for air makes it easy to locate and spear. Conservation efforts now include aquaculture programs and fishing regulations, with some communities implementing successful management plans that allow sustainable harvest while maintaining healthy populations. The arapaima's meat is highly prized, described as having a delicate flavor and firm texture. The Amazon basin is home to numerous freshwater stingray species, including some found nowhere else on Earth. These rays evolved from marine ancestors that became landlocked millions of years ago and adapted to life in fresh water. Most people associate stingrays with ocean beaches, so finding them in freshwater rivers thousands of kilometers from the ocean surprises many visitors. These freshwater rays have evolved alongside their riverine environment, adapting to different water chemistry and different prey. They typically rest on the river bottom, partially buried in sand or mud, using their flattened bodies as camouflage. They hunt by pinning prey against the bottom, then using their mouths on their underside to consume it. Their diet includes mollusks, crustaceans, and small fish. The venomous spine on their tail serves purely as defense. They're not aggressive and only sting when stepped on or handled. However, their stings can be extremely painful and potentially dangerous, causing intense local pain, swelling, and in rare cases, serious complications if the wound becomes infected. The rays can grow quite large, with some species reaching wingspans of over a meter. They give birth to live young rather than laying eggs, with females producing several pups after a gestation period of several months. The pups are miniature copies of adults and must fend for themselves immediately. These remarkable fish represent one of evolution's fascinating experiments. Ocean creatures that successfully colonized freshwater and now thrive thousands of kilometers from the sea that their ancestors knew. As we conclude our journey through the world's rainforests, we've glimpsed just a fraction of the wonder contained in these remarkable ecosystems. From the towering emergent layer where eagles soar above the clouds of green, to the shadowed forest floor where ancient recycling processes return all things to the earth, from the smallest leaf beetle whose entire world is contained within a single tree, to the mighty harpy eagle surveying kingdoms of forest from its nest in the canopy, rainforests remind us of nature's endless creativity and interconnectedness. Each species we've encountered, whether plant, animal, fungus, or microbe, plays its part in an intricate web of relationships that has developed over millions of years. The strangler fig that slowly embraces its host, the leafcutter ant that farms its fungal gardens, the glass frog made nearly invisible by its transparency, the jaguar prowling silently through the undergrowth. Each represents a unique solution to the challenges of survival. Each embodies countless generations of trial and refinement. These ancient forests continue to inspire, to heal, to provide, and to teach us about the delicate balance of life on Earth. They remind us that diversity creates resilience, that cooperation often succeeds where competition fails, that the whole can be infinitely greater than the sum of its parts. The rainforest still holds secrets beyond counting, species yet to be discovered, relationships yet to be understood, compounds that might cure diseases we don't yet know how to treat, and lessons about sustainability that our modern world desperately needs to learn. Every tree that stands is a library of genetic information. Every square meter of soil hosts billions of organisms working in concert. Every leaf that unfurls adds to the great breathing mechanism that helps regulate our planet's climate and atmosphere. As you rest now, let these images of verdant canopies and hidden wonders fill your thoughts with the peaceful majesty of our planet's most extraordinary habitats. Picture the morning mist rising from the forest, sunbeams breaking through gaps in the canopy to illuminate a cathedral of green. Hear the distant call of howler monkeys echoing through the trees, the soft drip of water from leaf to leaf, the rustle of 1,000 leaves moving in a gentle breeze. Feel the humid warmth, the sense of being surrounded by life in all its abundance, the peace that comes from being in a place where nature's systems still function as they have for millions of years. These forests have witnessed the rise and fall of species, the shifting of continents, the turning of ages. They persist, adapt, and continue their ancient rhythms, offering shelter, sustenance, and inspiration to all who dwell within them or simply pause to appreciate their magnificence. The rainforest asks nothing of us but to be allowed to exist, to continue its cycles, to maintain its incredible diversity. In return, it offers everything: oxygen for our lungs, rain for our crops, medicines for our ailments, and a glimpse into the profound beauty of evolution's endless experimentation. It shows us that cooperation can be as successful as competition, that giving back can be as important as taking, that every piece of the puzzle matters, no matter how small. Thank you for joining us on this peaceful journey through the world's rainforests. May your dreams be filled with the gentle rustle of leaves, the quiet song of the rainforest at dusk, the soft patter of rain on the canopy above, and the deep, abiding peace that comes from knowing that somewhere on our planet, these extraordinary ecosystems continue their ancient dance of life. Sleep well, and let the rainforest's timeless wisdom carry you gently into restful slumber, knowing that tomorrow the sun will rise again over these emerald realms, and another day of wonder will unfold beneath the forest's sheltering embrace.